Let's talk about some of the winners and losers from the Oscars. I've got my review of Kirby and the Forgotten Land for Nintendo Switch. And I've seen the first 4 episodes of Moon Knight, so let's get into it. All that and the latest and everything cool today in The Rundown. Hey, welcome to The Rundown. My name is Victor Lucas, and I am thrilled to see you here in the Electric Playground. We've got an awesome show for you today, and it's brought to you by our partners at the Gaming Stadium. They are Canada's leader in online esports tournament facilitation, and they've got tournaments happening every single weekend that you don't want to miss out on. You can find out all about them at tgs.gg. And TGS also has a brand new initiative, a platform for creating your own tournaments. They're calling it Pepper, and you can find out all about Pepper by going to pepper.gg, and you can find out how to put your own tournament on and put some cash on the line, beat all your friends, or host them and be nice to them. You know, have fun with the tournament. And of course, we have a dedication today, and this one's going out to Chris Boynton, who said, please, no Joker in the next movie. We need a Joker break. Give us a more fantastical villain like Clayface in this gritty world. And let's see Reeves' take on that. And I don't mind that comment at all. Of course, he's talking about the deleted scene that's been circulating across the internet that Matt Reeves posted about from the Batman, where the Batman meets the Joker. And it's a really creepy scene. There's some unbelievable makeup on Barry Keoghan, who is an amazing actor, actually. He was one of the best things in the Eternals. Didn't love the Eternals, but he was really good in that. And he was also in Green Knight. He's great in Green Knight as well. So I'm very excited to see his Joker evolve, but I would not mind us taking a break on the Joker because we've had a lot of good ones, a lot of really great ones, as a matter of fact. So a lot of competition, and every actor, I think, wants to play the Joker, so that might be part of, you get the cachet, and this Barry Keoghan is an up-and-comer, and everybody wants him in their movies. So it might be deal-making, but I agree. We could take a breath. Maybe put the Joker in the 3rd or the 4th Batman movie or something like that. Mix it up. Maybe Poison Ivy and Clayface are the main. Wow, that'd be incredible. Got me thinking, Chris. I like that. All right, let's talk about all of the insanity that went down at last night's Oscars. First of all, the big award winner of the night for Best Picture was Coda, which you can watch on Apple TV Plus. And I have seen this movie, and it's really good. It's about a young woman that is growing up in a family, and it's a family of deaf folks that can't hear, and she's an incredible singer, and she's trying to deal with all and reconcile with all of the challenges that she faces in her day-to-day because she, of course, interprets the hearing world for her family, but she wants to move on and pursue her dreams. It's a beautiful film, actually. It's really lovely. I don't think it's the best movie of 2021, but I don't mind that it won because it is so unique and original and heartfelt, and it hits the quotas that a lot of the Academy members would vote on. Tammy Faye, The Eyes of Tammy Faye, Jessica Chastain won for Best Actor Female, and she's an incredible actor. I haven't seen this film, but it does look pretty damn good, and Andrew Garfield is in this. He was in half of the movies of 2021, apparently. The big winner for the evening, though, was the one that I think should have won for Best Picture because it's such a cinematic work of art, and that was Dune. It won for cinematography, editing, Best Score. Hans Zimmer's score is incredible. Visual effects, of course, production design, and Best Sound. And it is just an extraordinary escape, this film. You can quibble about the interpretation. You can talk about the fact that it's only part 1 of a 2-part movie, or more that Denis Villeneuve is going to create for us. But God, what a tremendous piece of craft this film was. I really, really loved it. And then, of course, we also saw that the infamous Will Smith won for Best Actor for his performance in King Richard, playing the father of the Williams superstar tennis sisters. And I haven't seen this movie. I really want to. But it's going to be very hard to watch Will Smith in anything from now on, after the incredible performance he gave at the Oscars, an unforgettable performance that he gave at the Oscars. The uncensored footage of what he did to Chris Rock is all over the internet. He slapped Chris Rock in the face live on TV and basically rocked everybody in the audience and everybody watching at home and everybody on Twitter. We've all been talking about it, and I was shocked, and it looked like it could have been part of the act at the beginning, and then you see some of the aftermath and the repercussions, and Chris Rock sort of not being able to make a clear sentence and move forward with the rest of the show. He was visibly shaken by what had just occurred. And the more that I thought of it, the more that I thought about it, the more that I thought this was just a horrific and sad thing that happened. Like it really stopped the show, and it kind of signaled to the world that if somebody offends you, the first thing you got to do is hit them. And it's on such a massive platform in a celebration of an art form, and it just felt so terrible. It just felt so terrible. I mean, there's a lurid fascination with what has happened here, and we all can't stop talking about it and sharing it and having our theories about it, but just the idea that somebody was hit on stage, no matter what the circumstance was, he did have a terrible and tasteless joke, and it was awful, but I really feel like Will Smith should not have hit him. He should have come out and said, listen, you're really... You should have made him apologize, or when he came back out and talked to anybody, he should have denounced him or something like that. Or you can also kind of understand that people go through these crazy emotional outbursts in life. He had the opportunity to apologize for his actions, but he didn't. He kind of owned it and said, I should have done that, and that's the way that I roll, and I strike when somebody offends people I love, and awful for him, terrible. He is an incredible actor, and I've really enjoyed Chris Rock's work over the years, but now, man, like both of them are so tarnished by that moment. It was kind of horrifying, and it certainly got everybody talking about the Oscars, this kind of weird, I guess, happenstance that has come out of this moment. The Oscars were kind of getting forgotten, I think, in popular culture, but now we're all talking about the Oscars in sort of this sad irony. It was really awful to see that. But I want to hear what you guys have to say. Let me know in the comments below. Let me know in the chat if you're watching this live. Very, very shocking celebration for the best in filmmaking. And of course, one of the other big awards was for Encanto for Best Animated, and I agree with that decision. That's an incredible film. Lots of good ones in the animated world, but Encanto was something special. But congrats to the winners. And also to the nominees. What's weird is that nobody's talking about you. Everybody's talking about Chris Rock and Will Smith, which is nuts. Okay, you guys, let's shift over and talk about the Kirby and the Forgotten Land video game I've been playing on the Nintendo Switch. This was a really lovely and cute surprise, a very nice distraction from some of the horrible things that are going on in the world. This is a Kirby game that lets you play in full 3D, which is most welcome. One of the things that I always say about the Kirby titles is that this is a character that's unbelievably malleable and also provides a diverse assortment of ways to enjoy his adventures in this robust catalog that has existed for many, many years. And this is the first time that we really get a much more open and free-form sense of being able to explore these 3D worlds that are crafted for us. You also get these big mouth abilities, and you can see a very cool one here where you can kind of transform into this glider and fly through rings like you're playing Superman 64 or something. But there's lots of other different ones as well. I did love basically he has this giant ring that he can big mouth around, and he can blast out some air, and you could do cool things like hop onto a boat and then blast your boat forward to go through giant ice walls or something like that, and push windmills around. This is a game that is constantly, like the character himself, changing things up. The mechanics are changing, the dynamics are changing. You have the copy abilities that Kirby always has in his titles, and it's extrapolated in some pretty wonderful ways. One of those ways is the fact that you can actually unlock these cool blueprints by finding little secret areas and cool discoveries like this. And the blueprints you take back to the sort of main hub town, and you can upgrade these different weapons, these different copy abilities that you pick up. And so you can cruise around and go in front of a copy ability that you want to evolve, and you spend some of the coins that you make, and you also collect these star gems on these evolved versions of these copy abilities. So you can see there's a really nice kind of RPG growth system built into this wacky platformer that is most appreciated. It's really damn fun that you can have that. There's also a huge assortment of interesting boss characters that come out in kind of, quite showy ways. We've got this lethal leopard where she pops out with her claws flashing, and every one of the bosses fights you a little bit differently. And of course, you're using all of the abilities that you pick up, all of the copy abilities, and you're earning new ones on a constant kind of pace, which makes things very fun. One of the other big mouth abilities that you have is you turn into this pseudo water balloon, and you can blast, like Super Mario Sunshine style, all of the goo that might be obstructing some of the things that you need to knock out. And once you do that, of course, you're going to get rewarded with little secrets and surprises. Lots of fun things like that. You're trying to rescue these Waddle Dees that are scattered throughout each of the main sort of levels that you go to. And it is stage-based. It isn't sort of like this open-world experience where you just, meander and then you keep opening up new areas and you keep exploring and finding. You go specifically from this stage to that stage to this stage. It's a little bit like Super Mario 3D World. It's a little bit also like the Sackboy adventure that came out at launch with the PlayStation 5. And that's cool. I mean, there's a familiarity to that structure, and it feels very comfortable and very well tuned and paced as well. And you're also going to find nice, delightful surprises like being able to take control of a car using your big mouth abilities. And sometimes you'll get into giant races and stuff where you're trying to beat the clock and there's traffic on the road and you've got to jump over obstructions. And, there's a little bit of challenge in this game. It's not an incredibly difficult game, but there are moments like this where you are on these sequences called treasure roads where you've got to make specific jumps with very precise timing, and the clock is constantly ticking down. So these are sequences where, whoops, you might have to try it again. Not too many sequences like that in the game. For the most part, this is a pretty straightforward action-adventure platformer. It's also cooperative, so if you've got a younger player in the house that wants to play with you, you can do that, which is kind of cool. And then one of the things that happens as you clear the stages and you unlock all of these Waddle Dees and you save them, obviously you're trying to clear as many as you can and find as many as you can. It's a little bit like the Astrobot game in VR, which I thought was pretty cool as well. You get these gacha balls, which are little sort of amiibo-like characters that you can have into your collection, but also it takes a certain amount of Waddle Dees for you to unlock the final stage and to encounter the bosses and to keep progressing. So there is an impetus there for you to keep going back into these stages and not only get the amount of little characters that you need to keep going further, but there's also all kinds of secret areas and lots of little surprises and rewards for doing things properly. And what's counter to all of the sort of the main stages are these treasure road sequences where you've got objectives. It's almost like Metal Gear Solid VR missions, they're kind of tailored specific to the copy ability, and you get to the end and you get those stars. Those stars come in handy though as part of your upgrade path, so it's a pretty big deal. And the level design is it's very tuned, and it's clearly tested and polished by the developers. They went over it and over it and over it. You can absolutely feel the amount of attention to detail and the love that went into them. But there is also a nice variety. You're going to get kind of jungle foliage and destructible environments, and you're going to see a lot of sort of destroyed beauty. It's post-apocalyptic, which is weird for a Kirby game, but it's not all sunshine and roses. There's a lot of destroyed buildings, and you're going to go underground. There's frozen areas as well, and you're going to be encountering bosses and enemies that sort of take advantage of the environments as well. Everything is super cute, but it's also, surprising and delightful and addictive. There is, if you've been playing games like this for a long time, there is absolutely an element of the game kind of playing itself. I don't think that the game aspires to the heights of something like Super Mario Odyssey. Definitely not a Breath of the Wild type of experience. It's not like a complete reinvention of the idea of Kirby. It's a great transplant of the 2D Kirby mechanics that we've known for decades now into a solid 3D construction, and it's fun to play. I mean, that's the core of it. It's super fun to play. It's super fun to keep unlocking the stuff and finding the secrets and fighting the bosses, and then you can go back and find all of the things that you missed in each of these stages. And then there's cool things too, where you might hop into the water and you might have to avoid some of the whirlpools and stuff. And there you can see that you can't jump super high. There is like this invisible ceiling where Kirby can float, but he can't float super high. But in the water, I thought it was really sweet is you get like a little tiny life preserver every time you jump into the water. And if you have the bombs, because one of your copy abilities is the bomb ability, you'll actually throw a bunch of bombs, and each of the bombs will have its own little life preserver as it's floating down the river. I mean, there's all kinds of cute little elements like that. It puts a smile on your face. It's absolutely adorable, and it's super fun to play. It's a success, for sure. I don't think that it's a holy crap, I've never seen a better game on Nintendo Switch success. I don't think it sort of reaches the greatest heights that the first-party Nintendo stuff can hit, but it's definitely a worthy pickup, particularly if you're a Kirby fan, or if you love action-adventure platformers, or if you just love cute. If you love cute, you're going to be right in your wheelhouse. And also, this is a great game to introduce to younger kids and other members of your family that are kind of new to games as well. So lots to enjoy here. I do wish it was a little bit more challenging in some ways. Maybe they could have done a little bit more with the types of collectibles, because the gacha collectibles are nice, they're cool, you can look at the 3D models and all that stuff, but I don't know, it feels like there could have been a little bit more reward there. You're going to obviously see lots of familiar characters from the Kirby lore, and maybe some characters you've seen in Smash Brothers franchise and other titles like that. I do think it's a success for sure, and it's certainly one that I would pick up, and I think if you hit all of those quadrants, you like cute, you like platformer action games, you like the Kirby franchise, you're going to be right at home with Kirby and the Forgotten Land. I'm going to give it an 8 out of 10. All right, let's talk a little bit about what's been going on with this burgeoning idea of a PlayStation Game Pass type subscription. Bloomberg revealed last week that this week we would be hearing about this answer to what Xbox has been successfully dealing with Game Pass. They've got more than 25 million people that have subscribed to this platform. I put out a tweet over the weekend. I wanted to ask what everybody thought about this, and I said, what do you want out of PlayStation's answer to Game Pass? And I got some really good replies. I'm going to share a few of them with you, and certainly I would love to read more of your replies if you're in the chat right now, or in the comment section below the YouTube video. Let me know. But here's some of the thoughts that people have. Brian Eddy says, proof that they will keep supporting it and not pull a regular Sony move, changing everything or dropping it in a few years. There's somebody with a little bit of, cynicism. PS1 to 3 PSP and Vita games that can be played without streaming. That is all. That's from Blair Farrell. Very precise. Appear Offline says, can't compete with day one releases, but I really hope not just backwards compatible, but I hope they borrow the tech from Xbox to enhance their games using upscale auto HDR and things like that. GT7 on day one would be first and foremost, from John Matrix. The real regenerate degenerate. Push Guys Van says, add monthly past and all greatest hits PS Plus games to the PS Plus collection. Merge PS Now and PS Plus collection, PS1 to 3, Vita, PSP, PlayStation mini games. Add 1 to 2 games for each system per month. He's got a pretty precise ideas there. And conversion of PS Plus to Spartacus, family plan, indie games, discounts, day one access to multiplayer games, and trials for upcoming games. So I think there's some through lines in there. We want backwards compatibility. Yes, we want to be able to play some of the classic stuff that we have grown up with and that we associate with PlayStation from different eras. And I think that would be incredibly important. And, you know, obviously they've been doing stuff with PlayStation Now and PlayStation Plus to kind of give people a breadth of titles to play when they get a new console. I thought it was awesome that they provided so many PS4 games for new PS5 players as part of the PlayStation Plus collection. That was a pretty cool and sweet deal. But I think we can all agree that it would be great to go back all the way to PlayStation 1. And a common refrain that I read about and I hear about all the time is that, you know, you've got to upgrade this stuff. It's got to look a little sweeter, look a little bit better, play a little bit faster in terms of frame rates. And honestly, if we're going to be playing some of the classic stuff from PS1 to PS3 and the Vita and the PSP, these on new machines, these should be the best looking versions of some of these classic titles. So we're asking a lot. we're asking for a true head-to-head competitor with Game Pass, and certainly price is part of the discussion as well. And what's been rumored is that there's going to be different tiers, and based on tiers, you're going to have more added to your plate. You know, so you're going to be getting demos, and you're going to be getting online play, and then you're going to be getting some limited access to the day and date releases. But you know, Xbox has just been running counter to that idea all the way and saying, look, you want to play Halo? Just subscribe to this thing, and you got it right there, day and date. So even if Sony comes out and says, well, we've got this, but it's not quite parity with what a Game Pass has, there's going to be a lot of dissenters. There's going to be a lot of like head-to-head competition and people sort of pitting these ideas together. And it's going to be up to PlayStation to reply to that and answer to that. So I am hopeful that not only do they meet what Xbox has been delivering, but they come up with some new things that we haven't even been talking about, you know, and haven't even been positing, you know, and blow us away at a value proposition that is irrefutable. Because I'll tell you what, on Xbox, if you get one of the Xbox Series S or Series X platforms, why wouldn't you have Game Pass? It's irrefutable. And I definitely want that out of whatever PlayStation service is called. I hope it's not Spartacus, but I hope it's great. I really do. Okay, I've got another review for you, and this is for the brand new Moon Knight TV show that's going to be on Disney Plus starting on March 30th. Let's take a look at that. I've seen the first 4 episodes of Moon Knight, and what I can tell you is that this is a very unique Marvel show. It doesn't feel like any other show because we've got a character, Mark Spector and Stephen Grant, both played by the phenomenal Oscar Isaac. And there are 2 completely separate identities. He's got a dissociative identity disorder. This is a character with a mental illness. And so he's constantly having conversations with himself. And it's done expertly. It's done incredibly creepily as well, but also with a great deal of sensitivity. And it is just so riveting to watch. And the show starts with one of the strongest pilots, well, in Marvel history so far in terms of their television output, but in general that I've seen. It's just shocking, some of the stuff that's going on, because Stephen Grant, who is this museum gift store employee with a profound knowledge of Egyptian history, keeps waking up in these weird situations with blood all over his face and a gun in his hand, and he doesn't know what's going on. And of course, what's happening is that when he blacks out and is unconscious, Spectre takes over, and Spectre is this kind of mercenary, this American mercenary. And that's the other thing. Stephen Grant is a British guy, and Mark Spector is an American soldier. And so the disconnect and the disparity between these 2 performances is astounding. But it's really a mind trip when you're watching the show, because Oscar Isaac is flipping between these identities and there's realities. But it starts off with the onion being peeled back just a little bit from Stephen Grant's perspective, and it's terrifying. I mean, you're in his head and you're thinking, holy crap, what would it be like to not know what is happening every time you go to sleep? That's why he chains himself to his bed, and he keeps waking up with these weird nightmares and visions and things. And slowly but surely over the course of the first 4 episodes, there's like true mental breakdown moments, where the fantasy world around him and this supernatural world that's careening around him as a part of the Moon Knight lore interjects into his reality, and he cannot contend with it. You feel such empathy watching this character just break down because he just cannot compute. All of these weird things start happening to him. And of course, over the course of the run of the show, and I've seen most of the episodes, little bits and pieces of information start sort of clicking into place, and there's a little bit of, figuring out how to deal and contend with the challenges that these characters are faced with. And I'm trying not to spoil too much. What I will say is that Ethan Hawke is a tremendous villain as Arthur Harrow, and a great deal because he's such a quiet, powerful individual. He's not he's not like trying to be more manic than our lead and than our superhero, because our superhero has these mental illness issues. And so Arthur Harrow looks kind of sane and measured and educated, and has a sort of a place of knowing what Oscar Isaac's characters are going through. You're like, why wouldn't he just listen to this guy? You kind of side with the villain's viewpoint a little bit. But there is this whole other meta plot that's happening about the Egyptian mythology tied into the storytelling, and that's where Moon Knight gets all of his powers, through these Egyptian gods and stuff. And it's really, really freaking cool. And it also stands completely separate from all of the other MCU stuff that's out there. And the effects and the combat sequences are really damn good. Every actor and every character is solid in this. I love the Moon Knight costume too. That's one of the things that I really responded to, because I didn't read too much of the Moon Knight stuff when I was younger. I've only read a few of the books over the years. It's a very cool character, obviously crafted with as sort of an answer to DC Comics Batman character. He's sort of this, works at night vigilante. But because he's so unique psychologically, it's just a thrilling thing to watch. So I haven't watched the entire season, but I was left on such a crazy cliffhanger in that 4th episode. It's like I went to watch the next one and it wasn't there, because Disney was still, and Marvel are still putting all of the episodes together when they let critics watch the first 4 episodes. Thank you, Disney. But I was like, no, I want to see how this ends. This is crazy. So now they're going to dole them out every week starting on March 30th, and I'll be watching right alongside you guys. I actually, 2 of the episodes that I watched didn't have all of the finished elements in it, but they were still amazing. I mean, this is really next level Marvel stuff, and it's tipping to that supernatural kind of space that we're going to see in the MCU, where Blade is going to show up, and Werewolf by Night, and probably Ghost Rider and some of the other characters. This is sort of leaning in that direction and giving us a taste of the future there. Moon Knight is very special, you guys. That's what I can absolutely say. I haven't seen everything, but what I've seen so far, I freaking love it. 9 out of 10 so far, and I'm along for this ride big time. And I've got a couple quick things to tell you about. DC reached out to me to tell me that something very special has launched in Canada and in other countries around the world. DC Universe Infinite has finally launched worldwide. It's been a very cool subscription service that gives you access to more than 25,000 comics in America, but now you can get it in other countries. It's already live here in Canada, and they have an introductory price for people that are new subscribers. It's $60 a year, and it goes up to $90 a year if if you don't subscribe within the first 30 days. And if you subscribe at the discounted price and maintain your subscription, you're always going to be paying that, which is pretty darn cool. And I've been tooling around in DC Universe Infinite all weekend, reading a bunch of Green Lantern comics, checking out some stuff from Jeff Lemire and Darwin Cook and Frank Quitely, some of my favorite DC creators, and it's really amazing. I mean, you can search by the characters, you can search by the creators that you might dig. They had a whole Canada creators section, which was appreciated. There's links to a community kind of Q&A section in there. There's artist profiles. There's an extra shop that you can go to if you want any of the DC goods out there, like the Batman merch or whatever. This is incredible. I'm so glad that this thing is available. I'm a big fan of reading comics digitally. I've been reading a lot of the Marvel stuff because they've got their, Marvel Universe app, and it's been really amazing to dig into the history of some of these characters. One of the issues that loaded up the minute that I opened up the app was like an early appearance of Superman. It's just surreal to have all of this history at your fingertips. So check it out. DC Universe Infinite is finally here on iOS and Android in Canada and in all kinds of other countries around the world. It's very cool. All right, I've got one last thing to tell you guys about. And I just saw this trailer today on the PlayStation YouTube channel, and this is a game called The Cub, and it's made by the team that brought Golf Club Wasteland out, and that was something that I picked up last year and actually really liked. It's Golf Club Wasteland has this kind of, post-apocalyptic vibe, but you're playing golf. It's a little weird, but very trippy and very cool kind of, a sound score and stuff. And The Cub also has that same kind of thing. It's like a fusion of the Jungle Book in this post-apocalyptic setting. We see the rockets take off from Earth, but it's a 2D platformer action-adventure type title. With, very eerie-looking artwork and interesting soundtrack and some pretty cool little abilities. Also gives me some Wall-E vibes, like he's the last left on this planet and has to figure out where to go. And I think everybody has taken off to Mars, and so there's a survival element in here. I just dig the aesthetics on this one, and I hope it turns out to be pretty damn cool. And if you haven't checked out Golf Club Wasteland, you should definitely check that out. It's a pretty special game, and this one looks like it's going to be that as well. It's called The Cub. All right, you guys, that's going to do it for the rundown today. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you to all of our followers and subscribers on our Twitch channel, twitch.tv/EPN. We shoot the rundowns live there on a regular basis, so please come and join that channel if you haven't already. And of course, thank you to all of our subscribers and our EPN members on our YouTube channel, youtube.com/EPNTV. You guys all rock. We'll see you soon, and until then, play forever.